So I'm still tripping. I'm still tripping, y'all. So early 2020, the first month of 2020, I did a podcast series titled "Stop Tripping," which essentially was to hopefully help kick off this, because I use this podcast to for my own self talk. Essentially, I'm talking to myself really, but y'all just happen to be listening to me in my positive self talk space in the lessons that I'm sharing. But what I wanted to do in that series was essentially just kick off 2020, be like, yo, stop tripping on these things, stop being timid with what you've been given, stop worrying about what other people got going on, stop scrolling on social media, comparing yourself to them. Stop it. Just stop tripping and start doing and start taking action in that space, which I'm still supportive of that statement. Stop tripping. Like that's still the thing. But you know, I'm still tripping. I guess that's just what I'm telling this episode is I'm still tripping. There's still things that are occurring around me that still require me to that still knock me out. That still put me back. That put me in a position where I get too into my head. I cannot move. I can't take action, whatever that looks like, because I'm just tripping. So I'm not necessarily retracting that episode, that series that I did a year ago now. Good Lord, a year ago. But what I am doing is recognizing just, again, the humanity that we all experience in life, that there are many things that, and many seasons where we feel on top of the world that, running at 120 miles per hour, just going through walls, attacking the rim, climbing Mount Everest, whatever it is, just like this feeling of invincibility and just positivity and action that just cannot be matched in any way, and you just feel on top of the world. But then there are still seasons where you get down on your dumps, you're in the valley, things are tough, you just can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. There are so many things around you that are continuing to falter and fail, and it sucks, and it makes you trip. It makes you not feel confident in yourself, in your ability to move forward or to progress or have that positive passion that you once had when you were not tripping. You know what I'm saying? So I'm currently in that state right now. I'm being real vulnerable with you. I'm in the state where I'm tripping. I've been tripping for a minute on a lot of things. There have been some growth in my personal development and professional development in the way that I've been engaging on this podcast, bringing guests on, having phenomenal conversations, expanding my skill set when it comes to being an effective communicator, getting coached up on ways that I handle the business side of things. Shout out to Coach Will. All the ways in which that will support my ability to be an effective leader, an effective communicator, coach, consultant, whatever that looks like, and continuing to see progress in that state. But then there are those times where I step to the plate for some meetings that I have with some executives, or I'm asked to present a presentation of some type, or I get asked to speak at a group and talk to some next generation leaders or what have you. And I get the call and I'm like, whoa, I'm grateful, I'm thankful. But then immediately the feeling of like inadequacy cuts in. Immediately the feeling of, ooh, they asked the wrong one. Who am I to be the one to step to this space and provide some words of wisdom or present this information in a way that will provide value to this group? Why'd they ask me? Why'd they ask me to join this, And so I'm recognizing that there are certain times and seasons where this thought trips, right? Like this thought occurs, and I go into this spiraling state of inadequacy. And I hope I'm not the only one. If I am, then I am the only one. Y'all listening to me talking about this. But this inadequacy feeling constantly plagues the way that I approach life and my day-to-day actions. It makes me feel really a lack of confidence to take the steps forward, because I'm back in the comparison game, that the way that I speak or the way I craft a message is not the greatest as the ones that I see on social media on a daily basis. Or in the digital marketing space, the way that I am helping clients and attract their clients or get their message out there is not as formulaic or as in a position that just that I would want to see it, right? My own standard of success and excellence is not there yet because I'm measuring my standard and level of excellence to those who have been doing it for 20 years, who've been doing it forever. And you know, I'm maybe legitimately a year into this, but still like this thought of just like, yo, I know I could be better. I should be doing better and I can do better, but yet I just hit a brick wall towards getting to that point. Or if I'm at work and there's just a whole bunch of problems that are going on around me and I just do not have the answers to help support the people in the midst of it. And I just feel like palms up. What do I do? How do I help in that space? So this is what I process. This is what the things that I go through, and I'm trying to capture in real time whenever I'm in this season of inadequacy. What are the things that I can remind myself of that would at least help me work through it? I won't necessarily say push through it or try to skirt around it or whatever, because that's how life works. Like we have to go through these things. I have to go through these things. But if I go through them, what are the tactics that I can utilize that would help at least shorten the season or shorten the moment so that I can quickly move to that next state, right? So I jot down a couple things. The first one being just knowing that this is something that's going to pass. If I reflect back on previous experiences wherever I felt inadequate, such as in sports or doing any other type of school work where I'm doing a presentation or I'm in front of people that just seems like ridiculous that I'm there, I recognize that feeling passed because I did it anyway, or I moved forward. And if I'm in that state today, I reflect back on those moments in the past and realize, okay, this is not a new feeling. This is going to move forward. I will move forward. I will continue on past this. But being able to name it and reframe it is an important thing to consider. So I'm naming the fact that I'm feeling inadequate in this moment, but I'm going to reframe it in a way to say, this is not going to define my identity. I'm going to be more than this. And this feeling and this moment will pass and I will be able to get out of it. So being able to recognize that this is going to move past is one thing that I'm working on doing. The next thing I'm focusing on is just that there are things that at least I can control, right? There are a lot of stuff out there that again, comparing myself to, that is out of my control because it may or may not be something I haven't experienced yet. So if I look at like the speaking space and I'm trying to step into the speaking space, but I recognize that a lot of these speakers also have courses or books or lead generating content or whatever. And I'm like, yo, I'm not there yet. So, but and then because I'm not there yet, I feel like I can't be in that space and have a presence in that space, but that's not true. I can't work to get to that point, but I can focus on what I can control. And what I can control is the way that I present myself and the way that I speak and package the information, and take that and learn from it to then for the next time be able to say, okay, in this space, I recognize that I have a system and schedule of how I craft a message for public speaking. Now, how do I add to that? How do I take the next step further and create a document that goes along with the presentation I have? Or create a website that has people to come to me and see the other speaking topics that I have. So just being able to recognize that I can control on the moment and what I've been given and do the best that I can and excel with what I have and do my best to not be so inundated by other people's success or the way that they're doing things and make it seem like it's because I'm not there yet that the work that what I do is invalid and it won't work, right? So I don't have it all and I may not have it all, but I'm just going to focus on what I do have. And that would be enough. That would be enough, especially for right now, knowing that my mindset was always to move forward and get better. The next thing I'm working to remind myself of is to tap into my core. Like, who am I? Who am I as an individual? Who am I? How have I been wired? what are the words or the things that I've been told about my identity uh, in my life, right? Some of that, a lot of that, it relates to what I read in scripture and how God has created me in this space. A lot of that is reflecting back on what my family has told me, or the events and spaces where I have come alive or felt more about passionate about myself, or even just looking at journals and reading previous documentation where when I was in a season of a self high, if you will, of feeling like I have confidence, like that's what I'm trying to say, feeling self-confident in these areas, I will reflect on some of the writings I may have done in that season and be like, okay, well, what did I say in that space that really helped me get to here? Like, and tap into that, because that feeling is true, and I need to be leaning more into that than this feeling that I do not have what it takes. And then the last thing is monitoring the input that I receive on a daily basis. And I think that a lot of that tailors to, again, what am I watching on TV? What am I listening to on social media or a podcast, or the people that are speaking to me? Like, what are they saying? And how do I filter that through the lens of what is truth, and then what is just their opinion, or what is truth in a sense of this is, I guess, from a competitor standpoint, or looking at other people and their successes, those people who are the levels that I want to get to, what is something that, oh, that's inspirational. Like, what they're putting out is inspiring me to take action within what I can control, versus looking at their content or looking at what they're producing as, like that's a competition for me, and I need to get better. I get back at them, or do something completely different, or try to one up them, or that whatever, because that doesn't really help either in my own mindset. Like, I recognize that. And there are some things that I may need to just shut off entirely, because it's put me in that state of comparison so much that it doesn't really help me in excelling in what I want to accomplish. So that's been becoming a new thing that I'm working on lately, is being able to shut it down, turn off certain devices, turn off certain social media accounts, listen to specific podcasts, things like that, to be able to focus in on what it is that I can control, or the inputs that are really going to affirm who I am and my identity, and then be able to turn around and create and step into those spaces where I can take action in what I need to do. So I'm still tripping, y'all. I'm still here, and we will be fine. You know what I'm saying? I think that I am excited just to see what the next season will be when I come out of this Trippin season, because I find that whenever I do step out and step from this stage, that this cycle that I'm in, something new gets created that I never even thought it was in me, or maybe it was always in me, and I've had that, the still small voice speaking to me saying, yo, you could do this, or this is who I made you to be. And I never really truly listened to it until I'm in the season where I am tripping or whatever. And this might be it. There might be something new on the horizon when I come out of this season that's going to blow me out the water and hopefully propel this journey that I've been on to the next stage. So that's what I'm tripping on, inadequacy right now. That's what I'm tripping on. I would hope that if you are also a person who trips on inadequacy on a regular basis, or any other type of thing that holds you up from taking action, holds you up from being truly who you are called to be, or what you are supposed to be doing, or need to be doing, or feel this passion to take action in, I hope that you take a minute to step back and name it and reframe it in a way that gives you more power, or helps you find that confidence to keep pressing forward, and knowing that the next time this tripping season comes, you will have the tools and the handles to be ready in your context to prepare yourself for that time. Because again, life works in peaks and valleys, and in the peaks you still got to find a way to stay level, and in the valleys you got to find a way to rise to the level. And if you have the mindset, the frameworks, and the community to help support you in that space, you will constantly know how to handle majority of the situations that we approach. Now, sure, there are going to be some situations out there that we've never experienced in our lives, and we have to find new tactics to approach that. But the more prepared that we can get, the easier it will be to navigate those things, and we continue to grow and progress and just blow ourselves out the water when it comes to the things that we create. All right. So I appreciate y'all listening. I hope that you had, I would love to hear from you what your thoughts are on this episode. And what are some of the things that you're tripping on? Let's have a conversation about that, because there probably are some tactics that you're doing that I would love to hear and grasp. And be sure to listen to the previous episodes of On the Mic with Ray White. We're going to continue to put out some new episodes, some guests coming on with their stories being shared. I'm excited to have that. You can also check us out on YouTube, Raymond D. White. You can find me there too, on social media at Ray Devontae as well. And I would love to connect with you and just continue to talk about this journey that we're on, with the lessons that we can share and how we can continue to impact others in the next generation. So continue to share your story with others, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.